Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us for our webinar today, which is the return of events, charity event management made easy. My name is Cindy from the marketing team here at Canada Helps. I'm going to be joined shortly by the presenter, Lucas, who's just driving in the background for me. But I'd like to start off with a land acknowledgement. Our team at Canada Helps is really grateful to have the opportunity to meet and work on many Indigenous homelands across this land we share, Canada. As settlers on these lands, we feel it's important to acknowledge that our Vancouver offices are located on the unceded territory of the Coast Salish people. The Montreal offices are located on Kanien'kehá:ka Mohawk territory, and the land on which our head offices are here in Toronto is the traditional territory of the Wendat, the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. We want to express our respect for the territories we reside in and honor the diverse Indigenous people who have lived and worked on this land, both historically and presently. We, the staff and leadership at Canada Helps, are committed to being active participants in reconciliation and committed to continuing to amplify Indigenous voices and learning how our work affects Indigenous people. A little bit about Canada Helps if you're not familiar with us already. Canada Helps is ourselves a charitable foundation working to increase giving in Canada through technology. For Canadians, this means that CanadaHelps.org is a one-stop destination for making donations, fundraising, or learning about any charity that's registered in Canada. And on the flip side, for Canada's 86,000 charities, we also develop affordable fundraising technology, such as our customizable donation forms and the events tool that we're going to be discussing today. We provide free training in the forms of things like webinars, white papers, and blogs. So you can check that out on our site. And we do this so that all charities have the capacity to increase their impact and succeed in this new digital age. Since 2000, more than 4 million Canadians have donated over $2.7 billion to charities using Canada Helps. A little bit of housekeeping. Just to preempt the question, a recording will be sent to all registrants and also uploaded to the registration page. If you don't get it in your email, you should be able to hear us, but we won't be able to hear you. So if you're having any technical difficulties or if you have any questions about the content, please put them into the chat log and I'll be in the background answering them. We'll also have a Q&A at the end, so do get the questions in whenever they come to mind, and I'll be facilitating the Q&A with Lucas. Perfect. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our presenter, Lucas Fries. He's the Senior Manager of Charity Engagement, and since 2018, Lucas has been empowering charities and helping them to level up their fundraising. Lucas is at the forefront of new digital giving developments and has helped thousands of organizations build successful online giving programs. Over to you, Lucas.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Cindy, for that introduction. Hello, yeah, my name is Lucas Fries, so I'm a senior manager here at Canada Helps. Thank you for tuning into our webinar today about ticketed events. It's been a long time since we've done an events webinar here at Canada Helps. I think, oh my gosh, maybe a couple years. We'll be talking 2020. So thanks for tuning in. We got a lot to cover. So as Cindy mentioned, got questions, put them in the chat. I'm going to do my best to get to them at the end. If I don't, you'll probably hear from myself or one of our team members. We'd be happy to follow up with you about any questions that you have. Okay. I know some of you have maybe attended webinars by Canada Helps before, so you're maybe getting tired of my face. Sorry about that. I'm here again. For those of you that are new, welcome to Canada Helps. Welcome to the webinar. My number one objective every time I do a webinar is to have some fun. So hopefully for all of you, I know this is busy. Some of you are probably executive directors, director of developments, fundraising, treasurers. I know this can be a busy time of the year, so thanks for taking an hour, or if you're watching the recording as well. Let's have some fun and learn about events and fundraising. Okay, so just a couple things that I'll be covering today. So we're just going to look at, again, kind of for to start, like what is events? What can we do with events? And then we're going to look at how all of you that are registered with Canada Helps have the ability to run online ticketed events right now directly within your account and how easy that is to set up. Okay, so first thing is like return of events. So for some of you, this might be part of the fundraising that you do every year, running some kind of event. Maybe this is new. Maybe you used to run an event and this is your first time back, or maybe you got a hybrid thing going on. Obviously, the world has changed quite a bit in the last couple of years. But generally, when we think of events, we think of dinners, auctions, workshops, we even talk about memberships, kind of anything where you're selling tickets or collecting a registration. With the Canada Helps Events tool, you will have the ability to sell tickets or collect registrations if your event is completely online or hybrid. It doesn't have to be in person. You have that flexibility, but we'll show you how you can do that with Canada Helps. But traditionally, these are some of the events, and we're seeing a return of them. So roughly from the Giving Experience research study in 2021, so roughly 30% of people surveyed donated through an event in the last 12 months. So I know at your organizations, a fundraising event could make up a majority of your fundraising. Maybe it's just a piece. We know that ranges across different organizations. But these are important if you're running them, and it's important to run them well. Okay. And just touching on that a little bit, some of the importance around events, some of you that again, if this is your first time, or some of these things that you know, running an event engages first-time donors, active donors, and even lapsed donors as well. With events, you have a great opportunity to engage a younger base and a more diverse donor base as well. Okay, a well-planned event can raise awareness for your charity, and then also as well, when you are running events, this also has a like social giving aspect. So we're seeing a growth of people who want to, events, birthdays, things like Giving Tuesday. Maybe you're planning events around there, and we're starting to see a bit of a growth in that area as well. Okay, so just a number of ways that you can use and run events and the importance of them. Okay, so we have a little poll here. I think Cindy might throw that into the chat here, or you can put your answers in the chat. But just quickly, are you planning to run an event? Again, this can be virtual, hybrid, or in person. And some of your options here. So within the next 3 months, 3 to 6, longer than 6 months. No, if you're not interested, but are just here to learn. So if you have a second, maybe just throw that in the chat. We'd be super curious to know. I'll give you about 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Cool, awesome. So, and again, let's start diving into getting started with events and planning. Again, for all of you here, this will be recorded, or is being recorded. So if any of your colleagues need to watch this, or you want to keep this on hand, we are sending you that recording as well. Okay, so getting started with ticket events. Number one, if you go to the Canada Helps website, we do have white papers on events as well. So feel free to go down there and download. This is also something that we can share. But if you want to have creative ideas, setting a budget, finding sponsors, how to execute a plan, we know that there's a lot that goes into an event. So feel free to download that guide as well for you. Okay. Awesome. So how does Canada Helps event tool make it easy? Okay, so how do we do this? So first piece is starting with sign up. Okay, again, I'm going to show you within your Canada Helps account how you're able to create this directly in your account, but really easily. When you create the platform, you want something that's slick and mobile optimized sign up page. So we're always advocating in some of our past webinars, right? Make sure that your website is mobile optimized if it's not. So the events tool is mobile optimized. We can actually embed this directly onto your website. So it's easy for you and easy for your donors and supporters to sign up on a mobile device directly on your website. So a couple of best practices for your event sign up page, making sure high level information. So you have agenda and highlights, the date, location, so map, do the people know where to go? Impact, right? So people who, why are you running the event? What are you fundraising for? Making sure you communicate that. You're gonna be able to upload your color palette. You have images and videos that you can put on as well. And again, it's a clean, easy to feel interface. And again, I'm gonna show some examples here as well and how to create that. But keeping it simple and making it really easy for people to purchase, again, tickets, memberships, whatever that is for you, okay? Some features for events. So number one is setting up your ticket sales. So these are some, if you're still in that planning stage, a couple of key things that you'll wanna think about before going live. So what are your ticket types? So with the Canada Helps Events tool, you don't need to have just one ticket option. You can list multiple. There's actually an unlimited amount that you can list. So are there different prices? How many are available for each ticket type? So as an example, say it's a dinner and there's only 100 seats. We want to make sure that we cap it at 100 so people aren't buying when there's no seats available. Pricing structures, special promotions. The Canada Helps Events tool actually has a promo code feature as well. So if there's discounts for certain people or early bird pricing, we can do those kind of things. And then also sponsors. So sponsors can use the events platform to purchase their sponsorship gift, but we'll talk about how you can sort of set that up and ways you can kind of promote that, right? So a couple things to think about before your event goes live when it comes to setting up tickets, okay? Also, as well as setting up your sales period, okay? So unlike, I think some of you have, I'm sure a lot of you have donation pages on your website, right? Or you have donation, maybe you're using a Canada Helps donation form on your website, right? When we create that form and we embed it on our website, we can more or less what we call like set it and forget it, right? With a ticketed event fundraiser, there's probably going to be a start and end date. So whenever the day of your event is, but then the ticket sales period. So you got to think about how long in advance do you want to be selling tickets for? And again, all those kind of questions, different ticket types, things like that. Again, is it in person or virtual? What's the communication message you want to send when it's sold out, right? And also ask parties to donate to support once you're sold out. So the events platform is also going to have the ability to collect donations at the same time. So you can enable it so someone's going to buy a ticket, they'll purchase a ticket, and then also make a donation with a tax receipt at the same time. Okay, so just to pause there quickly, when we're looking in the Canada Helps account, right? So some of you, if you're familiar with your Canada Helps account or have been in there, right? All you're simply going to do is log into your Canada Helps account here, and you'll see the tab that says events. And on the right-hand side, all you need to do is create an event. Okay, when you do that, you'll notice the event will live here. It's going to track how much you've raised. Okay, and I've got this awesome tab here called Kelvin's event. And very easily, I can edit and manage this event. Okay, so just to dive in, when I click the edit page on the event, right? So this is my event here called Kelvin's event. So right here, I can make all of my changes. So when we're looking at general information, so these are some of the things that we've just kind of looked at in the slides, right? So my event can be bilingual, right? I can edit the URL that you're going to be able to share, okay? The name of my event, I've got a little event overview, so you can add a lot more details than just simply cool. So you have overview and then also details about your event. So again, it's all about just simply filling this in, really, really easy to create. And then also can show and add a fund amount. So if there's a specific fund where these donations are being allocated to, we can add them there. And you've got a host here of different preferences. So sometimes some organizations want to show a total amount that you've raised to date. You can add a goal amount. You can show the number of attendees that have already purchased tickets, right? So this is, again, totally up to you. If these are things that you want to hide, no need to select it, but those are available to you. You can even display the attendee list as well. So when people purchase tickets, their names will appear, right? Brief description about your organization can go here, right? And then as well, your start and end date for your event. So very important, where is this event going to be held? So you put the start and end date, location, province, all of those really good things. And again, if this is a completely online event, we can simply enable that option here. And what we're also going to be able to do is call for volunteers. So we know when you're running events, especially if they're in-person ones, but all kinds of events, there's always a lot of work that goes involved. So if you're calling for volunteers, you can actually just enable this option, write a brief description text. And when people are making purchases or simply making a donation, if they can attend, they can actually, request to be contacted by you to be a volunteer to help out. Okay. And organizer information as well. So I'm sure some of you might be setting up this event at your organization. So whether that's you or a contact person, you can have that information there. So if people have questions, they know who to contact at your organization. Okay. So again, really, really cool, super simple. You're just in your Canada Helps account. When I scroll to the top, you click events and you can just go ahead and start building your event. Okay. So some of the things that we had looked at. Okay. A few other things that you're going to want to think about. So communicating with your attendees. So once your attendees have gotten their tickets, so they can go online, so they can purchase tickets, they can purchase a membership, right? They can register for your online event, whatever that is. They are going to get a confirmation email that they have about their purchase. They will also get a tax receipt if there is one. We're actually going to talk about that, how you can turn off tax receipting, how there's split tax receipting capabilities. You have all that. Okay, so they're going to get that automatically. But some things to think about is your communication strategy once that's done. So this system you can actually set up reminder emails as well. So 14 days before the event goes out, we can set an automatic email. 7 days before out, we can do that. So you're going to want to think about, do you want to have those options as well through the events platform, right? Or do you want to have some other kind of strategy in terms of communicating with your attendees, especially for people who've maybe bought tickets months out and it's a long time until their event? Again, just thinking about what's a strategy. Do I want to have a phone call with them as well to thank them for their purchase? Thinking about that piece before you run your event as well. Okay. These are something I had just kind of showed on the events platform through Canada Helps, but these are, again, very specific to you. So think about it. How do you want to display event goals and progress? Sometimes when we display our goal amount, that can be encouraging and it can encourage other people to make purchases or donations. Maybe in your situation where you feel that's not best, you can hide that, but just know that you've got that ability, right? So you can see on the right-hand side, that's what it's going to look like. So my attendees, how much I've raised. It's a really good way to rally people around your cause. Or if you don't want to show that, totally fine as well. Okay. And again, ask to join as a volunteer option, whether you're using the Canada Helps platform or not, right? Just know that whatever you're using when you are collecting this, you have the ability to ask for volunteers, and you should always have that option, because I know there's a lot of work. A lot of your loyal supporters would be happy to help. So just have that option for there. You might be surprised by the people who do want to help out with your event. Okay, and then adding an additional donation option. So I'm going to show this in the Canada Helps account here right away, but really important. I always advocate this when you're setting up your event. You have that option to simply ask if somebody wants to make an additional donation. So some people are going to land, they're going to go to your website, they're going to see your events page. Maybe they're not going to be able to attend that day, for whatever reason that is. But when you have that donation option, it gives them the ability to make a donation. Also, somebody could make a purchase they could purchase a ticket or a membership, whatever you're running, and then also add a donation at the same time. So if my ticket was $150, I could add a $50 donation to top that up to $200, and I could do that in the same checkout flow. I will also get my tax receipt for that donation piece, right? So we can customize the receipting capability on the ticket itself. But if I put it a donation, that is a donation, so I'm going to get my tax receipt for that right away. Okay, so we're going to have that ability. Okay, and we have options to various tax receipting options. So I'm going to jump back into my event example. So again, this is Kelvin's event. We kind of looked at the general event information. Very quickly, I've got a media library where I'm able to upload images and videos. So maybe you've got past events, you got some super cool images. Feel free to add those here. And I can also customize my color palette. So I can add an event header image, right? And then I can customize the color palette to the colors of your organization. So take your codes, put them in here. This is an example of what that would kind of look like. So again, I can change these colors to, whatever I want. And you'll notice how that button changes, or my bar color, if I want to make that more blue, you'll see how that changes, okay? So with these events, again, remember we talked about at the start, mobile optimize, 55% of traffic is coming from a mobile device. So making sure that your website's mobile optimized, you're going to want to embed this on your website ideally. And so make it look slick, take the colors of your logo, of your website, match that branding. It's really easy to do. Okay. But what I really want to dive in here is the tickets and tax receipting tab. Okay. This is I'm a farm kid from Manitoba. I like to eat lots of meat and potatoes. So I say this is the meat and potatoes of your event, okay? Especially some of the important things. So number one is the tax receipting option, okay? So you essentially have three options, right? We can turn off the tax receipting, we can issue an instant receipt, and we can also do a post event, okay? This is something that you're going to want to figure out. We have a couple tips and a link for the CRA if you don't know about this, that will be helpful. But at the crux of it, if this is an event where there's no tax receipt, we simply click that option. If it's an instant receipt, we can select this and we can customize that. And I know sometimes you're running events and you're not sure if or what the receivable amount is at the time. If we select post-event tax receipts, when somebody makes a purchase for your event, they will not get a tax receipt. However, you can log back in here at the end of your event, enter the amount that's receivable. Once you've calculated it, click send, and all of your purchases will automatically receive their tax receipt. Okay, so that's the first thing. You're going to have that option. For your tax receipt purposes, you'll need to upload a signature. You're going to have to upload your logo. Okay, so we'll be able to do that. And then some of the things we talked about earlier in the slide. So your ticket sales period, right? Different than your event date. So if I'm doing a golf tournament, I know we're getting into October, so maybe there's a golf tournament here in the next couple of days. I would put the date of my golf tournament earlier. In the tickets and tax receipting section here, this is when your tickets go on sale. So maybe this was started in like June as an example, and I'm selling tickets for 3 months, okay? So this is specifically tied to the selling of your tickets, okay? We talked about that donation option. So if you want it, you just simply click the check mark on and it will automatically appear, okay? Pretty easy. Sold out message, right? So especially for those of you that are running events where there's a certain amount of seats, certain amount of tickets, certain amount of registrations, whatever that is, make sure that you've added a sold out message, okay? Because what will happen is when somebody goes to make a purchase, this is the message that they're gonna see, okay? So just make sure that you add it. And also, as I always advocate, simply turn this on, because if they see a sold out message, they might still be able to make a donation to you, okay? Here, you can collect additional information. So if you want to collect attendee information, if you want to collect purchaser phone number, again, totally up to you. If you want to include PDF tickets in the email, generally have them on, okay? And then this is the promo code section, okay? So if you have promo codes or discounts, make sure that you add them here. Okay, so really easily, if you click add promo code, you can simply just add that here. Okay, so you can create a code, maybe that's like ABC or 2614, you know, whatever you want to make that. You apply it to your tickets. Again, the quantity. So maybe there's only like 10 discount codes available or things like that. And again, we can add that discounted amount. So whether that's a percentage or an amount. So it's like 15% off, or is it $15 off, right? So if you've got them, you can simply add them here. Again, really, really easy, okay? Once we've done that, then here are your ticket types that you're creating, okay? And again, how this works, pretty straightforward. Enter the name of your ticket, enter a short description. So let's say it's a golf tournament and then it's a single golfer, and then that can be the description, just like single golfer, right? Anything that gives a little bit of context, sorry. Also forgot to mention, you can use the events platform for free. Okay, so if you're just collecting registrations, maybe it's an online event, maybe it's like an open house, whatever it might be, you do not have to have a price to use the events platform. Simply click this option and you've got a free event, okay? Or if there's a price, again, we can add that in. We can select the quantity available. So again, for those of you that have limits, enter that amount, or if there's no limit, select that, okay? And then here, your receivable amount. So if you've selected instant tax receipt, here is where you decide, is that receipt for the full value, right? Or if my price is 100, maybe that receivable amount is $50 or 60 or whatever that can be. So you gotta wanna make sure that you add that, okay? And then maximum per purchase. So essentially what this is if I'm a purchaser, can I buy 10 tickets? Can I buy 30? Or, you know, is there a limit to that, or is there simply no limit? And if there's no limit, you can do that. You can cancel that so people can buy as many tickets as they want. Okay. And if there is a receivable amount, if you're running a split tax receipt, you can also enter the description of the advantage, right? So sometimes your purchasers might not know, like they might not know that they're getting a tax receipt that's split. They might not be familiar with that. So description of advantage just gives you, you can just share, you know, what the advantage is, why the tax receipt's split. It gives you that ability. Okay. And then once that's done, your tickets lives here. So again, I can have multiple tickets. I can rearrange them. So if I had multiple tickets here, I could always rearrange them. I can edit my tickets here as well. And then I can also hide them too. You'll notice there is a delete button. You can delete a ticket, but once a purchase comes through, you are no longer able to delete a ticket. It's just for record and tax receipt purposes. So it gives you the ability to hide it. Okay. One of the last things with tickets as well, when you add tickets, you do also have, you can see I can make some edits here as well. You do also have the ability to add custom questions as well. So if you want to add questions like, what's your dietary, like, do you have any dietary restrictions? T-shirt size, I don't know, could be anything like that. Yeah, you can ask additional information. so that when somebody is making a purchase for your ticket or registering for something, they can fill that information out, and it gives you that additional piece as well. Okay. So everything else with the events platform is just like customization, adding logos, colors, description. This tickets and tax receipting portion, again, will be some of the main things that you'll want to hammer home. And again, it's really easy. You're just clicking events and you're adding that information here. Okay. Again, I'm saving some time for questions at the end, so just make sure if you've got some, you're putting them in the chat as well. Okay. So a couple other things, we just kind of looked at this with the events tool, the events tool, but these slides are also going to be shared as well. We have included a link here for guidelines and example scenarios on split tax receipting. So if you're not sure how much the receivable amount should be, like things like that, when we share the slides, follow this link. It takes you to the CRA. It's a really great guideline that can really help you out. But just some of the basics for you is, again, the intention to make a gift. And generally, if the value is 80% or more, there is generally not an intention to make a gift, and therefore a receipt cannot be issued. Okay, so that's generally the rule of thumb, 80% or more as an advantage. That's not an intention to make gift, no tax receipt should be issued. Okay, but you've got that flexibility. And again, if you don't know, post-event tax receipt gives you that option too. Okay. Another thing here is also managing your events both online and offline. So the events tool will allow you to input offline donations and sales so that your platform is up to date. You can check people in, and at any time you can reissue tax receipts or messages and any of those things too. Okay. So when I go back into my event, okay, so notice how we've gone through these 3 tabs. There's also an email preferences tab here too. So if I click on that, just a couple things like a purchaser confirmation email. Do you want to add additional message in the event that somebody also made a donation? Message if you're using post-event tax receipting, confirmations. But here are kind of the big ones. Remember we talked about, hey, I want to send reminders the day of an event, the 7-day before event. You want to send automated reminders. You can enable those. You can enable notifications. Okay, so really easy. And when it comes to setting up your event, we've literally gone through all the tabs. It's pretty straightforward, not too complicated. But as sales come in, you're going to want to go to this Manage tab here. Okay, so this is going to give you a list of your attendees, right, and your progress. So first off, you can see your total ticket sales online and offline, plus your tickets sold. If you've got promo codes, days left, and then also donations that you've received. So you're gonna be able to track really quickly what's coming online, what's coming offline, what percentage of the pie is ticket sales versus that donation option. Okay, when I scroll down, the sales will simply live here. Unfortunately, my Kelvin's event is blank. We only got 20 days to go. We should be doing some more fundraising. But under here, just to show you these options, you can resend a ticket, you can resend a tax receipt, you can email somebody. Okay, so you've got all of that flexibility as well. Okay, what you're going to notice is the add offline option here. Of course, when you run events, not everybody is going to make a purchase online. I'm sure a lot of you are still getting quite a bit offline. In the event that that happens, what you're able to do is add the offline purchase here, and the system will automatically send the tax receipt, and it's going to automatically send the ticket. Okay, so it does issue the receipts for you for an offline gift. Okay, so if you've received, again, I have one single ticket for $90. So if I've received that in a check, I can do that. If this included a donation, so maybe they threw in like an extra like $40 donation, I could also include that. But essentially, I would just do that. I'm going to fill in the purchaser's information, right? And then I'm just going to want to add that option to send the purchaser a tax receipt. Again, assuming that there is one. Maybe this event didn't have one. And then I'm going to fill that out, and simply the system is going to send them the ticket and it's going to send them a tax receipt for you. So it's kind of, for those of you that you're using databases or CRMs, right? This actually has like that offline receipting capability for you, for your events, built in to the platform already. Okay. So idea here is when you're logging into this event, you're seeing in one place all of your ticket sales, all of your donations, they're all living in one place for you. Okay. Another thing as well, so this is going to show sales and donations, but you're also going to have an attendees tab at the top here. Okay, so people who make purchases for event might not be attendees, right? So you can have a corporation as an example that buys 30 tickets for your event, but they're sending their employees. So either the corporation is the purchaser, the employees are the attendees, right? So this is just going to simply show you all of the attendee information. So who's actually slated to come to your event or attend online or whatever that might be. Okay, when you have that, again, if I click the drop down arrow, right, I can resend tickets, I can send messages, but I can also check people in, right? So if this is an online event, and you see people coming like through the Zoom link, if it's in person and people are walking through the door, you simply just need to have your account open on a computer, you can do this on a phone, do this on an iPad, whatever you've got, but you can check people in as they walk through so you know everybody who has attended your event. Okay, so again, pretty straightforward. It's all in your account, but simply when I can edit my event here, but then I can also manage it by clicking this option. Again, seeing all my sales, seeing all my attendees, being able to add offline gifts as well. Okay, and that's what's going to give you that ability. Okay, I've talked about this a little bit as well, but a bonus here is the ability to manage memberships. So if some of you are doing that, you've got that ability. Okay, and again, instead of ticket types, you can just simply call this membership types. So there's an example here. Again, this will be shared with you all. But again, this is what the platform looks like when it's embedded and it's live. So we're using this as a membership portal. Okay, so again, when it's embedded on the website, notice that the colors and the branding, it looks exactly like their website, right? I can share this on social media, really easy. They got a great banner image. And then these are my two membership options. Okay, I can simply choose what I want, or maybe I want a lifetime membership. And then again, this is that donation option, right? So I could become a lifetime member and then also make an additional donation at the same time. Okay. The platform will allow you to customize this button. So notice how this button says join now. This could say buy tickets, purchase membership. You know, you can customize what that button is going to look like for you. Okay. And then again, remember we looked at the overview and details. So overview, details, you've got all that information down here below. Okay, so pretty clean. Again, once you embed it on your website, you're just taking your colors. It looks good. People can purchase tickets to your event or buy a membership directly on your website. Yeah. And then these are some other examples. Again, gonna share these. You're gonna have the links to these as well if you want to check them out yourselves. Again, this is what it looks like. So the Dyslexia Canada, they have this silver dollar reopening night. Okay, so notice on their platform, again, this is a direct link. So when you get the slides, you can check it out directly. But notice, get tickets. They've got their ticket proceeds, days to buy. They're showing the amount of attendees. These are their two different ticket options. Okay, and again, branding, color, matching their organization. Okay, golf tournament here that's coming up now on September 28th in Ontario, right? Those are my different options to register. They even have a whole sponsor, right? If I want a buffet dinner, that's all there. They have also included that option to make an additional donation as well, right? And again, here's a map, 18 days to buy, right? Again, customize the colors exactly to their organization. Okay, so really customizable. Again, we're going to send this to you as well, so if you want to check out some of these examples below. Just before jumping into Q&A, again, just want to mention within the Canada Helps account, all you need to do, sign in to your Canada Helps account, and then it's simply this events tab here. Okay, when you do that, again, this is the event that we just kind of showed, right? So the edit button, this is the manage where we're managing our events. If I click view at any time, I can see this is Kelvin's event. You can see I have a little bit of work to do. My event's not done yet, but you can see this is what it starts to look like when you've created it. So I got some work to do here. And then to get that onto your website, it's simply this embed code. So when you click on this button, notice how this is copied to your clipboard. This is the line of code that you put it onto your website, and that form will appear directly there. Okay. So with that, happy to jump into some questions.
Perfect. Thanks so much for the presentation. I'm not sure you weren't able to see the poll results, but I shared it with the audience, and around 51% of our audience are going to be running events in the next 3 months, and a further 40% are running within the next 3 to 6 months or a year. And then we have some people, like around 10%, joining us that they're not running an event just yet, or they're just here to learn.
Cool, love that. Thanks for sharing. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. I wanted to reiterate, if we don't get to your Q&A, your question in time, we will be getting back to you through an email, probably early next week. So don't worry if we don't get to your question, because they've just been flooding in. Okay, so I think a very common question is, could you talk about the fee structure?
Yeah, great. That's a fantastic question. So just like with all the other tools with Canada Helps, so when you use Canada Helps, there's no subscription, there's no monthly cost, there's nothing like that. It's just the transaction cost. So with the events platform, it's 5%. Okay. Again, when someone makes a purchase or donation, 5% comes off. But again, that will also include tax receipting, unlimited support for you, all the customizations of the tools. But it's 5% that you'll want to know.
Perfect. And kind of related to that, would this tool be suitable for a completely free event? How would the pricing work if they're just trying to sell, like, get registrations?
Yeah, totally. So you can use it for a free event. Just going to go back here quickly. So if I'm editing an event, right, again, so if I go to tickets and tax receipts that you'll see here, right, if this is a completely free event, right, this will have no tax receipt, of course, but all you need to do is when you're creating the tickets and tax receipts piece, just simply select free. So when you do that, your event is free. And I also highly encourage you, make your ticket purchase free, but then also, again, enable that donations piece. We have a surprising amount of charities that run free events and end up raising a couple $1,000s because people sign up and they're like, yeah, I'll make a donation. So always encourage that option. Thanks.
Perfect. I think you went through this a little bit, but there's like different options for different tickets. Could you show again, like, how to set up different options? Would people be able to purchase tickets for something in the morning and then like a reception during the evening?
That's a good question. That's a really, really good question. So you definitely can do that. So again, I'm going to go back to this tickets and tax receipting option. So what I would do, actually, I'll backtrack for 1 second. The first thing to remember is that you can create an unlimited amount of tickets. Okay, so if I just do, let's say I'm just going to do an example one here. Save amount, no limit, no limit. Okay, so if I created a ticket, so notice I've created this other ticket here. Okay, so I have one ticket for $90, I got this other one for $50. Okay, this ticket is for purchasing, but maybe this student ticket, let's say as an example, you only want open for a certain amount of hours, right? All I can do is simply hide this ticket, okay? So my event starts, then people are gathering, right? And then all you do is share the link and you say, now you can purchase a student ticket, right? I would hide this one, show this one, and then people can go onto the events page and then make that purchase. So you can absolutely do that, and there's no limit to the amount of tickets that you can create. It's a great question.
We have a question. Does the events tool allow for peer-to-peer fundraising?
Yeah, so we'll probably do another webinar on peer-to-peer fundraising on its own. Maybe that's coming soon. But within your Canada Helps account, so I'm just going to jump back to the Canada Helps account. Again, these are your three main fundraising tools with Canada Helps. So some of you might be using a donation form, right? That's that form on your website for people to make donations to you at any time. The events tool is what we just looked at, so selling tickets, collecting registrations. But again, you also have a peer-to-peer tool. And very quickly, if I click on this option here, just like the events tool, I can create a new P2P campaign. So think about, generally when we think of P2Ps, we think about walkathons, bikeathons, those campaigns where people sign up as teams or they sign up as individual fundraisers and they create pages. That's what peer-to-peer is. So you absolutely have that ability. Just go in your Canada Helps account, click P2P, and then create. But I'm very positive that we'll be running some more webinars and some training sessions on P2Ps. Thank you.
Perfect. When they are receiving funds from their events, how often are these funds dispersed and how are they dispersed?
Excellent question. So most of you are probably registered with Canada Helps already, meaning like you have a Canada Helps account that you see on this screen. If you're not, make sure that you register, and also make sure to sign up for EFT as well, just so we can send direct deposit of your donations. When you're running an event or so if you're running a P2P, you have a donation form on your website. Canada Helps disperses the money into your bank account every Thursday. So some of you might be receiving some donations today if you've been doing some kind of fundraising. Every Thursday is the donation day. Okay, so if you're in your Canada Helps account, you're going to want to look at this donations to be dispersed. This will tell you what is upcoming on the disbursement date. For your event, you do not have to wait until the end of your event. So if you're running an event now and you're selling tickets, you don't get the money once your event is done. You get it scheduled every Thursday directly into your bank account. Okay, but you'll get the donor information. You'll get that right away, but the physical money comes Thursday. Good question.
Awesome. This is kind of related to ticket types. Are people able to add options to sell other items? For example, if they're doing like a raffle at the event or a prize draw ticket?
Yeah, you can. Again, what I would say with the events tool, I'm going to go back to my example here, Kelvin's event. So you do have that option to do that. Again, you'd be able to create as many different ticket options as you want, and all I would do is simply choose when to show them. So if it's just something for a couple hours, hide it or unhide it, you would have to go in and manually make that switch, but you would have that ability, yes.
Perfect. With the tickets tool, is there an option for ticket buyers to cover the fees?
Great question. So not yet. For those of you that use a donation form, they can cover the fees. For the events platform, it's not there yet. They can't cover the fees.
Okay, no problem. Do offline tickets have to include a payment method? So they're wondering in the case maybe some company has committed to join the events, but they are requesting to be invoiced. Is there a way to notate that?
Yeah, definitely. So you don't actually have to insert like a payment method. So if somebody's made that commitment, right, you can just add the offline donation and then choose to just, if there's a tax receipt provided, or if there will be one, You can choose to just not send it yet, wait till you've actually received the payment, but you can add an offline donation without indicating the purchase. Yeah.
Great. And when you're communicating with your attendees, how customizable are the messages? Can you send very specific ones, a few days before the event, for example?
Yes. So the messages are completely customizable up to you. So you can write the message, you can add links in there. If you're thinking like videos and pictures and those kind of things, that it does not have capability for. If you're looking for something more complex, I would simply take my donor information and then put it into your like whether that's your database or a MailChimp, like put it into that and then send it. But if you're looking for just like, hey, customization of my messaging, some automation, and then like links, it can for sure do those things.
Great. A couple questions on the promo codes or promoting the event. Are there ways to restrict access to ticketing for pre-sales perhaps, or for VIPs, but still have the event page live?
Yes. So with promo codes, when you add a promo code, you're creating a code. So let's say I have a $100 ticket and certain people get 50% off. So you create the code. So maybe it's like ABCD, like that's my code. So for whoever gets the discounted code, all I would do is just share it with those people. So maybe it's just 10 people to say, hey, you get a discount. Here's when you go to check out, place this code in there. That way, only those individuals are getting the discount and not everybody else. Okay, so that's probably I hope I'm answering your question here, but that's probably the best way to do it. It's not like you have to like restrict who views your event. It's just create the promo code and then send it to the people that are deserving of it. Maybe that's not the right word, but that are eligible. That's a better word for a promo.
Yeah, I think that answers the question, or is a smart way to go around that issue. For promo codes also, is there an IP address marked so that they can't use the promo code again, like that particular person that visited?
That is an awesome question. Is there that capability? I'm not sure. If you send me an email after, I can actually find that for you. It's a question I've never heard before. I'm going to say probably, because we have a really smart tech team. So I'm going to say probably, but I've never had the question, never had an answer before, but I can find that for you. But I will make a guess as in probably that's the case. But excellent question. Email me after, please.
Great. Let's see. A little bit of logistics. Could a ticket be canceled and that person get their money refunded before the event is held? Like what would happen with funds that might have been dispersed? Things like that.
Yes, awesome question. So so when it comes to using the events platform, so this is actually thank you for bringing this up. It's a little bit different as we kind of looked at in the webinar here today, the events platform gives you the ability to customize your tax receipt, right? So you can turn it off, post event, you can split receipt, right? Because of that ability, Canada Helps issues your tax receipt on your behalf. So notice how I'll actually go back to it so we can take a quick peek at it. So notice how when we were creating our event and adding tickets, notice how you had to add a signature and you had to add a logo. Okay, because you're customizing the receipt, this is the reason we ask for a signature and a logo is because this is actually your tax receipt. It's your charity's tax receipt. So when somebody makes a purchase to event, we are sending your tax receipt on your behalf. We do it automatically and they get it automatically, but it's your tax receipt. Because of that, when it comes to refunds, we generally don't do the refund, Canada Helps. So if a donor is requesting a refund, we'll disperse the donation to you and then you can refund it. for them, or if there is an extreme case or very valid reason or mistakes, Canada Helps can do some things, but like generally as a rule of thumb, because it's your receipt, we get on your end to issue the receipt. But again, that's not to say that we won't do it or can't do it, just depends on the circumstance. It was a
Great to
great
know.
question.
Another events logistics question. For an in-person event, can staff or volunteers help people check in across maybe several computers?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you'll be able to do that. Yeah, so it's all online, like through the cloud, I guess. So yeah, if you have a couple computers open, you can check people in. That's no problem.
Okay. And how would someone go about like promoting their event? Does Canada Helps have the ability to promote the event on social media or share it?
Yeah, great question. So the first thing that I would suggest, if you remember at the start of the webinar, if you go to canadahelps.org and the for charities part of the website, we have white papers. I would really highly suggest downloading the white paper for event. That white paper, it's awesome, and what it does is it will also explain things like budgeting and how to market your event, fundraising tips. So please go there and download that guide first. When it comes to marketing the event, so these tools, so creating an event, it's your fundraising tool, like as we've kind of shown today. You'll notice there's nothing in there that says Canada Helps. So it's your colors, your brand, and your logo. So Canada Helps generally doesn't market events. We support all Canadian charities, so we don't market one or the other. However, download the guide. Feel free to reach out to me, and I have some members on my team happy to chat through how to market and fundraise. At its core, if I could leave you with 2 tips right away, put it on the website and embed it ideally. And then the second thing is email. So maybe if you've ran an event before, first people to email are the ones who've attended previously. Get them on board, and also your board members. Huge advocate for this. If you're selling tickets, get your board members to purchase tickets, even if they can't. So do that. If not, if this is the first time you've run an event before, go to your donor list. Who are your donors? Reach out to them first. Get people who've already supported you, are already invested, get them on board before doing things like think about like buying Google ads or search words. Like that's kind of like near the end of the fundraising train. Go to who supported you first. That's my. Feel free to email me, of course, but those are my top couple tips for you right away.
Perfect. And as someone on the marketing team, there's always places that you can just input it on your, have it, of course, on your site, but also in your email signature. And you can share the links on social media. You can just take like the snippet, I think, inside the events tool. This is a somewhat related question. Somebody actually asked if they don't have a website, can they still work with this events tool?
Yeah, definitely. You definitely can. So I think this is what you were kind of referring to, Cindy, a little bit. But if I go into my events tool, so if I'm going to go to general information here, okay, notice how you can customize the last little bit of the URL here, right? So if I view my event, just simply take this and just copy it. Okay, so if I copy this link, I can put this on a social media post. I can put this on an email, like Cindy mentioned. So if you don't have a website, this event acts, if you notice it here, it acts as its own like standalone website for you. So just email it to people, put it on social, and yeah, you don't need a website.
Perfect. I think staying on this page actually shows quite well also the descriptions you can give for ticket types, because someone also asked, can they explain that the ticket might cover a donation or attendance in this specific case? Are they able to have flexibility in the words that request the donation? Actually, can they change that donation message at the bottom there?
Okay, yeah, great question. So here, you notice the single ticket gets you a day with Calvin. Sounds like a great deal. Kelvin's an employee of Canada Helps, by the way. Should have mentioned that earlier. But basically, this you can customize at any time. So use this to explain the ticket types. With the donation option, this you can't customize yet, I would say. We've had some requests to be able to do that, but right now this you can't customize, but of course you can customize this button as well. Good question.
Perfect. That brings us right up to 2 p.m. There are still a lot of questions that we probably didn't get to answer on air. Some of them are very specific, or we'd have to look up. So we will be getting back to you and also checking in with some of the people whose questions were answered just to make sure that we got it right. So you can all expect an email soon, and you can see Lucas's contact information right there on the screen if you'd like to just proactively reach out to Lucas, and he'll be able to help you or direct you to the right person. Thanks again for taking time to tune in. And thank you, Lucas, for a great presentation.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye.